Hello, my name is Rosalind Nyanongo, a licensed professional counselor and covenant crisis therapist at Living Water Family Therapy in Round Rock, Texas. And you are watching Living Water for Real Life, a podcast for weary mamas and women in covenant crisis. And today we're talking about a very serious issue and a very specific issue at that. Today we're going to be talking about infidelity and managing children while you're dealing with infidelity within your marriage. So I just want to give this disclaimer in case there are small children around that this is not for the kids. So I just wanted to say that whenever you're finding out or you found out that your spouse has been unfaithful, then it can be really difficult to navigate that, especially whenever there are children involved. And so today I'm going to talk about the importance of protecting the children whenever you're navigating infidelity within your relationship. And so the 3 points I'm going to talk about is protecting the children's eyes and ears, protecting their heart, and protecting their schedules. So, why is it important to protect the children whenever you're walking through infidelity, regardless of whether or not you choose to stay with your partner or not? It's because children um, are unfortunately innocent victims and bystanders whenever things like this arise, and a lot of them typically feel like it's their fault or that there's something that they can do to fix it. And really, it doesn't have anything to do with the children. However, most of the time, some of them do feel like that it is something that they need to resolve and or help to mediate. And so that's the reason why it's important to safeguard your children whenever you're dealing with something as critical as this. Whenever the parents become dysregulated due to infidelity and or betrayal trauma and the fallout that comes with that, it makes it really difficult to focus on other things besides what the parent is feeling themselves. There are so many feelings that come up: sadness, anger, rage. And so sometimes the children end up getting forgotten in that. And so this is just a gentle reminder of a few ways that you could protect your child if this is what you're going through. And so the main thing that I would like to talk about first is protecting your children's eyes and ears. If you and your partner are having to have the conversations about what's going on within the relationship and within the marriage, and you're talking about affair partners acting out behaviors, things like that, you want to be very mindful of the things that you say in front of the children, because you don't want to paint the parent in a negative light in front of the child either, because you don't want the child to end up choosing sides. So many times whenever children are whenever families are dealing with infidelity, children feel like they have to pick a side, whether it be being on the side of the parent that was betrayed or protecting the one who was doing the acting out. That is not a child's place to be put in that position, and it can be a very difficult place to get your child out of if they are finding that they are needing to favor one parent of the other or the other. Um, Whenever you're having the conversation with your partner, don't use profanity in front of your child, because that can invoke fear and anxiety within your child. And it also makes it difficult to have a productive conversation with your partner and or spouse in that moment too. Um, whenever someone feels disrespected, whenever you're having a conversation, makes it more likely for them to shut down, and it makes it a lot harder to have a productive conversation that ends up in some sort of resolution. And even though having those conversations is difficult, they are conversations that need to be had. However, there are ways to have healthy conflict and healthy confrontation that does not end up hitting below the belt or becoming disrespectful or even dismissive. And then that way, whenever both parties feel like they're heard, then it's easier to come to some sort of resolution to where both parents feel like they have been heard. Um, Another thing that can be helpful if you are having those heated conversations, or even those conversations and you have to have them um, whenever a child is potentially around. If you find that you're getting elevated, or voices are being raised, or things are being said, or whatnot, it's okay to call a timeout and to step away for a little bit, and then reassure your child, oh, that it's okay. And also, that's also a great opportunity to model healthy conflict. If you and your spouse are having a discussion that's going down a path that becomes inappropriate for the child, it's okay to say, hey, I don't think that this is an appropriate time to have this conversation. Why don't we pick this back up in a few hours after the kids are gone to bed? Or, I'm feeling very upset right now. I'm going to take a few minutes to go and calm down, and then go and do something to help regulate your nervous system. um, I also encourage you to spend intentional time with your child. Both parents are very important to the child. And it's important that even if you are going through infidelity, that the child still feels like that they are a priority for the parent, and has um, individual time with the parents without the other spouse there. It's really important whenever a child feels like that their world is being shaken, or whenever um, routines are being broken and things are found out and people are just acting different, that children feel reassured. So I encourage you to spend that one-on-one time with your child. Do something that they enjoy to help them feel like they still matter, even if things are shaky. um, and also too, if separation is something that you and your spouse determine is necessary for a season, don't share all of the details with your child as far as why and all of that stuff, because a child does not need to know all that. It can be harmful to the relationship with the child for the other parent, and even just damaging to the child themselves, especially if they feel like that they're having to choose a side. So if you are having to go through separation with your partner, then just give your child the broadest details as possible. You could say things like, well, so and so, mom or dad is gonna go and stay at auntie's house for a little while, or uncle's house, or whoever it is, because we just need some space right now. And they're still gonna come around. They're still gonna come and be a part of bedtime and help take you to school and meals and things like that, whatever you and your spouse decide, so that way to try to keep some sort of structure for the child. um, and also too, you don't want the child to feel scared either. Whenever a child sees that things are changing, they might try to act out. And so if the child is acting out, then I encourage, once again, that one-on-one individual time with the parent, as well as getting in with a therapist that can offer something called filial therapy, which is a form of play therapy that reinforces the parent-child bond and attachment, that can be really beneficial whenever children are dealing with family dysfunction like that. Um, another thing that I find that couples do whenever they're dealing with infidelity, and maybe they're not at a point where they're ready to talk to their spouse yet, is they will send messages through their child for the other spouse, like, oh, well, tell your dad so and so, or tell your mom this or that or the other, or how are they doing. That can be seen as well, it can feel manipulative for the child. And so you don't want your child to end up feeling like that they are um, in essence, a pawn between both parents, because your child loves both of you. And you really want to try to keep them in a child's place, even when it is difficult and you're navigating something as difficult as betrayal, trauma, and infidelity within the relationship. Um, Another point to consider is protecting your child's feelings in their heart. Don't parentify the child. And what I mean by parentifying is venting to the child about issues within the marriage. um, it's not appropriate to talk to a child, even a teenager or even a young adult, about the issues in the relationship within the marriage. What that does is it introduces a power dynamic, and it can cause harm to the relationship with the child and the parent who was acting out, or even the parent who was the victim, because once again, you don't want the child to feel like they have to choose sides. And the thing that I see too is that whenever adult children have parents that are going through infidelity, betrayal, trauma, divorce, things like that, because the child is over 18, some parents choose to give their child details of the marriage that are not appropriate to share with your child. And so I encourage you, if you are in this situation, I encourage you to talk to a friend or a licensed professional that can handle that for you, um, and can give you some sound and wise advice, so that way you can feel cared for as well. Um, I also encourage you to pray with and over your child, and to even include a blessing for the other spouse that you maybe encourage your child to say, and that you even say with your child. And what this does is it shows that you are still willing to be an active participant in your child's life, and that you're not going to vilify the other parent. And that can be really helpful, because you don't want to end up pitting your child against their other parent. That's not a fun place for a child to be in. And also, it also encourages their heart to continue to stay soft and moldable, even whenever their world seems shaky. And reassure them that they're loved, and that God loves them as well, and that also God is going to take care of them even whenever things are difficult. And then also protecting their schedule. Children need routine and structure. And so whenever a child's world is being shaken by infidelity, the first thing to go out the window is schedule, because people are moving around, feelings are involved, and emotions and what have you. And it's important to try to keep bedtime routines, school routines, drop offs, pickups, extracurriculars, things like that. And even though it's very difficult for the parent, especially if it's very emotionally draining, um, for them to continue to be on a schedule, it's crucial for the child, because what it does is it gives them some sort of stability, which is really important whenever they're feeling like that things are happening around them and they don't have control over it. Um, and so I encourage parents, whenever they are dealing with infidelity and they do have children, especially small children, I encourage them to establish some sort of co parenting routine, even if it is just for a little while, until things get ironed out. Because what you don't want is, you don't want your child to start feeling unsure of the situation, because then that can cause acting out behaviors, which can make things a lot worse. And if you do notice your child is acting out, talk to them about it. Reassure them that you love them. Reassure them that the other parent loves them and that it's not their fault. Um, and so, a verse that I like to lean on whenever I am working with children that are dealing with family issues such as infidelity is Psalms 27:10, which is, though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. And this verse reminds us that God is with us even whenever the people around us feel like they are unsteady and or shaken. And so, if this episode spoke to you, I encourage you to do one small thing to help stabilize your child's world right now, um, and to ultimately just reassure them that they are still loved and that they are still a beloved child of God. And if this is you and you're feeling like you're talking right to me, and I don't have the capacity right now to do these things. I don't even have the capacity to talk to my spouse or my partner because I am bleeding on the inside. It is okay. I encourage you to get someone to talk to as well. I am a licensed professional counselor in Round Rock, Texas, and I also see clients virtually throughout the state of Texas. And I am accepting new clients for filial therapy, in person therapy in Round Rock, Texas, and couples infidelity, betrayal, trauma, and also family therapy. Um, and so I just encourage you right now um, to find something for you, um, and that it's okay. You will get through this, and um, God loves you. And just because things seem hard does not mean it will be forever. And so if this was helpful for you, I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share with another couple who you feel like could benefit from this. Infidelity and betrayal is a very scary and isolating issue that affects more people than we realize. And you are not alone, and you don't have to do this alone. And there is hope. My name is Rosalind Nyanongo, and this has been Living Water for Real Life. And thank you, and I'll see you next time.